In this video, we'll be learning how to find slope from a graph. So there are 3 different ways to find slope. When we are trying to find slope from a graph, it's important that we are always looking from left to right to determine the type of slope we have. So if I'm kind of looking left to right, a positive slope increases. Left to right, a negative slope decreases, kind of goes down like that. And then we can have a zero slope, which is a straight horizontal line. And then we can have an undefined slope, which has no slant to it at all. This is just a vertical line, straight up and down. So 4 different types of slope: positive, negative, zero, undefined. So then we can assign a value to our positive, negative slopes, because there are many, many positive slopes and many, many negative slopes. So there are 4 steps to do this. Okay, so if I'm finding slope from a graph, the first thing we need to do is find 2 pretty points. So we call these pretty points as if the line crosses through both coordinate lines. So for example, looking at the graph here, this is going to be a pretty point because I have a coordinate grid going this way and I have a coordinate grid going this way right through that point. Okay, this is not a pretty point because I've only got the one coordinate grid going through the line here. I don't have the other vertical one. So that also then makes this another pretty point. I have both coordinate grid lines. Now most graphs have more than 2. You just need to pick 2. So like on this graph here, that's also another pretty point there. I've got both coordinate grids, and then this one down here is also a pretty point as well. But we need 2 of them, and then we are going to count our rise over our run to make a fraction. So from one point to another, we're going to kind of make this triangle or staircase on our graph, and then we can count that this is 2 units and this is 1 unit. So rise over run is 2 over 1. And then at step 3, sometimes we don't have to do, but it is to reduce the fraction we just made. So 2 over 1, that just simplifies to 2. So sometimes we might have to reduce, like if I had 3 over 6, I could reduce that down to 1/2. So we always just want to go to lowest terms there, okay? And then last step is to double check whether our answer should be a positive or a negative slope. Okay, a lot of times on our quiz, forgetting a negative sign is a really easy mistake to make that can lose you lots of points. So this, in fact, is increasing, so it's going to stay a positive 2. If we look at this example over here, okay, we've kind of already got our pretty points drawn in for us. Again, those are pretty points because we've got our nice, pretty coordinate grids going through them. There's also 2 more there. So our rise is 1, our run is 2, so rise over run, but this is decreasing, it's going down, so that's actually going to be a negative 1/2 slope. So there's just a couple examples there. I'm going to have you try one on your own real quick, so pause the video and just do this first example on the next page, and then play to see if you did it right. So one of the tricky things about finding slope is actually finding those pretty points. So remember, you only need 2. I'm going to show you all of them. So this is 1, this is 1, this is 1, and this is 1. So there are 4 pretty points here. Any other point on this line is not going to work to find your slope. Okay, so pick 2 and then find your rise and your run. Make that triangle staircase. So we've got 1, 2, 3 for my rise and 1, 2 for my run. So 3 over 2. And then remember, check your positive, negative. This is going down, so this is going to be a negative 3 over 2 slope. Okay. If you didn't use these 2 pretty points, you should still get the same answer. So maybe you used, these 2 that are farther apart. In that case, your rise is 6 and your run is 4. That still reduces to 3 over 2, and it's still negative. So you're going to get the same answer. It doesn't matter which 2 you use. All right. So there are 4 more on this page. Go ahead and try all 4. Pause the video and give it a try. All right, so checking to see where you're at. Lots of pretty points on this graph here that just keeps going. All right, so if I kind of make my triangle here, my rise is 1, my run is 2, 1 and then the 2, and it is negative. Not a lot of pretty points on this graph, so they are spread out a little bit. And then we're going to make our triangle. So my rise is 2. My run is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's positive. 2 over 5. Now some people like to try to say like that's a pretty point right there, but it's not. It's really, really close. Okay? But you can actually still see the spot where the 2 grid lines cross, and the line's not on it right there. So I could even put the point there. The line's not crossing through right there, so that's not a pretty point. You got to be really picky. And then these last 2 are our other 2 types of slope. So we talked about 4 types of slope: positive, negative. This is our 0 slope. So you can either write out 0 or just write 0. And then this is an undefined slope. So this is just going straight up and down. Oops. Undefined slope. Okay. So before we get into the second half of our notes, we've got one more graph where we're going to find slope on. So I'm going to let you do this one first also. Notice I just want you to find the slope 3 different times. But each time, pick a different 2 pretty points. So there's lots of pretty points. Use a different 2 every time, and then answer my question at the bottom. So we've got all these pretty points here. So if I pick 2, my rise is 3, my run is 1, so my slope is 3. And if I pick another 2, here my rise is 6 and my run is 2. If I reduce that, guess what? My slope is still 3. And then I could do that again with a different 2. And those didn't have to be the 2 points you chose. And then it reduces to 3. So again, what we're noticing here, so this is why it doesn't matter which 2 points you use, because you're going to have the same slope. So does the slope change? No, it does not change. It doesn't matter which 2 points you use, because slope is the steepness of a graph. This line is not changing steepness. It's the same all the way. Okay. So the second part of our lesson today is we are now going to make the line. So I'm going to give you a point. So this first one, your point's going to be -2, -4. And I'm going to give you a slope. So this one's going to be 5/4. So when we do this, the first thing we need to do is graph our point. So just a reminder that coordinates are x, y. This is my x-axis. This is my y-axis. So -2 on my x has to meet with -4 on my y, so that first point is right there. And then the slope is like our directions. Remember, 5 is our rise, 4 is our run. Rise over run. So from this point, we're going to rise 5. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I need to run 4. Now the question is, am I going to go to the left 4 or am I going to go to the right 4? Okay. You have to make a positive slope this time. I didn't give you a negative slope. So if I went to the left 4, I would be making this downward directional line, which would be negative. And I want a positive 5/4, so I need to go to the right 4 and put my point there. So then I can repeat that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a point there. And then draw in our line. Good. So let you try one now. So your point is -3, 1 with a slope of -1/4. So pause the video, try that first. So -3, 1 is right here. My rise is 1, my run is 4. So if I kind of think through this problem, if I go to rise 1, to make a negative slope, I need to go to the left 4. My graph doesn't let me do that. Okay, and if I go to the right 4, I'm going to be creating a positive slope, which we have a negative slope. So I actually have to go down 1 and then to the right 4 to put a point there to make this negative. And then I can do that one more time, down 1/4. And draw in our line. But 2 more, and then we are done with this video. So -1, 5, and your slope is -3. So go ahead and try that one, and then play to see how you did. So this one's a little different and is a little tricky because I didn't give you your slope as a fraction, but we can always make any number a fraction by putting a 1 on the bottom. Okay, so make sure you do that, otherwise your graph's probably not going to turn out right. So my point -1, 5 is up here. So then my rise is 3, and I can't go up 3, so I have to go down 3. And then to make it negative, I have to go to the right 1. Okay, and if you don't ever go to that right one and you just keep going down 3, it's going to make an undefined slope, which is not a slope of -3 then. So we don't want this straight vertical line. So down 3 and then over that 1, we have a run of 1. Down 3, over 1, draw in our line. Good, last one. Pause the video to try this one. So 5, 4 is right here. So with a slope of 4, remember that's 4/1. So I can't go up 4, so I need to go down 4, and to make it positive, I'm going to go back to the left. So down 4 and then back left, because then actually left to right, it's making it a positive graph.